Okay, we've got a question from one of our viewers here. It says, can I get health insurance if I retire early? How much does it cost? So I want to thank you for watching. My name is Richard here with Wisdom Investor. Now in this case, that's all the information we got. We really don't know how old this person is. Is the person younger? One of the folks that are in the FIRE, financially independent, retire early type plan, or maybe they're in their 60s wanting to retire about 62. The average person takes Social Security at age 63, by the way. So it is a big consideration. Health insurance is one of your top three costs. You've got your food, you've got your housing, you got your health insurance. And so it's a big, big factor. Plus, without health insurance, you get a catastrophic loss. Something happens, an injury, disease, it can put you out of business. It can really bankrupt you, it can destroy your savings. So you've got to have it, but it's a very expensive item. I'm a couple of years away from 65. I've been contemplating reducing employment, or right now my health insurance is through an employer. So of course if I stopped working with that employer, then my health insurance of course would be gone. Now I do have some options here, but it would definitely be a lot more expensive than while you're working. I think I pay, like right now, an employee portion is about $100 per month. And the company's paying probably $500 or $600 per month or equivalent to that for a family situation. So if I was to leave a company, and this may be your situation too, if you leave a company, what's your spouse's situation? Or if you're single, you're going to have to obtain some type of insurance. In my case, my spouse doesn't have any insurance through a company, and so I can't use that to fall back. Then I also have two daughters in their early 20s that are on my health insurance right now. I have that to take in consideration. So we're going to look at some options here today. It's definitely an interesting subject, and it can vary state to state. There's not always a perfect answer for each individual person because we're talking about age, where you live, what your health condition is in, etc. So we're going to take a look at this subject here. Okay, we talked about expenses here. This is the average expenses that the Bureau of Labor and Statistics came up with. Then this is what they determined that a person, say 55 and over, is spending. Now, a person under 55 is going to have a higher budget than this, and this is again an average. But you can see housing costs $1,352. Transportation, if you purchase a car, you're paying a loan back on that, $667. Healthcare, you can see, is right up there. Food. So healthcare is a big number. You start talking about a family and having to go out and buy your own insurance with a family, it could be $1,000 per month or more. Okay, so we're going to look at some health insurance options when retired. Let's say you're a person that's been working and now you're going to be retired. Okay, or maybe you've been self-employed and you're going to retire. Or maybe you're retired right now and you're just trying to gather more information. Okay, or maybe you're a young person that's in that FIRE movement, financially independent, retired early. So if you leave your company, you have that COBRA continuation plan that you can participate in. So in my case, I'm paying insurance a little over $100 per month. This would probably, with a family, could be $700 or $800 per month on a COBRA plan. It may be more than that. I may be kidding myself on this. I have not seen any of the numbers. I'm just numbers I've just heard. But it can be costly because you're paying the full price. In my particular case, the company itself is pretty much self-insured, and so they're paying a lot of the cost on the health insurance. So COBRA would be one avenue. Now, if you're 18 months or less from being 65, it could be a good option to just continue onto that right into Medicare. Does the spouse have a plan? Does your spouse have a plan? So if you're going to retire, does your spouse have a plan? And you could fall back onto that. Many companies have eligibility for spouses. Now there are some companies that do not, but the majority do. So this could help you save a lot of money right here and help you in your decision on retiring early. Now, if you don't have a COBRA situation, you don't have a spouse plan, and you're retiring, then you look at the public marketplace. Basically, this is the Obamacare plan, and you can take a look at your particular state. Every state is different in the public marketplace here. And then private insurance. You could take a look at private insurance. Okay, the private insurance, here's some companies that would be considered under private insurance. And it never hurts to check with these companies along with the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare and just get a comparison here. But private insurance is like Aetna, Anthem, Blue Cross, Cigna, etc. Okay, we're going to look at 2 or 3 options here in addition to your COBRA or your spouse's plan or the open marketplace or private insurance. You could also self-fund with a health savings account. This allows you to put aside money that can be tax deductible or tax-free. And this would be used primarily in a situation where you have a high deductible. So you can put away additional monies to cover those small health insurance costs. Something else to take a look at here, not necessarily an insurance, but it basically can affect your insurance, and that's take good care of your health. If you're smoking, stop smoking. Start to exercise, because the healthier you are, the less times you're going to be visiting the doctor, and that's going to keep your overall cost down. We'll take a look at some cost of health insurance in just a moment. Another option here would be get a part-time job that has health benefits. There are some companies out there that let you work part-time, and you can also qualify for health insurance through those companies. There's also some health care sharing programs. These are typically Christian-based health care programs that have been very successful. They may not have quite the same coverages that you would see in some of your private insurance or Affordable Care Act, things along those lines, but they also are less costly. Typically, you get a little higher deductible in these kinds of plans, and it's situations where you don't necessarily use the insurance all the time, but if you have that catastrophic loss, you're going to be covered. So various companies, and you may have seen advertisements on these, but we have Medishare, Samaritan Ministries, Christian Healthcare Ministries, and Liberty Health Share. Okay, let's get into some cost of health care if you have to go out and pay for it on your own. And this is some information provided by eHealth. But for the average monthly premium for individual plans by gender were $461 for women in 2018 and $418 for men. Let's break it down a little bit more here. The average monthly premiums for individual plans by age group. So here's a graph here. Basically, this is under 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 55, and then 55 and above. But basically, it's pretty obvious here what's going on. The older you get, the more expensive it can be. So for those who are younger, the FIRE group, the financially independent retired early, you could expect to pay a lot less in premiums. You can see here in the 25 to 35 year old, $312 per month, 35 to 40, $395. However, you start getting into this older age, then definitely healthcare costs are much bigger concern. So let's review a couple of things here. 3 areas here that affect healthcare cost. And one is your health status. Are you a smoker? Do you visit the doctor 10 times per year? Do you have 2 or more chronic health conditions? So if you're answering yes to at least one question, you should plan to spend a larger portion of your retirement income on healthcare. However, if you don't have any chronic conditions, no family history, you've never smoked, and you don't go to the doctor often, you can probably plan to spend less than the average. The other options here and concerns is your location by state. It can vary in your location, and also the age that you retire. We just took a look at that, but if you're going to retire early, again, take a look at your spouse. Does your spouse have a plan? Stay on your former employer's plan, the COBRA plan if you possibly can, or you would buy some health insurance out on the open market. So we've looked here at, can I get health insurance if I retire early? How much does it cost? So we went over some basic cost here for health insurance. Again, this is a real individual situation because it's your health, your location, your age, all come in to factor in the cost of health insurance and whether you can get it. So leave a question. If you have any other questions along this line, leave a comment. Thank you for watching here today.